Hello, and welcome to the 100,000 Reasons for Gratitude. Please join me as we look at life through a lens of happiness. Today, I'd like us to talk about nature and what it means to actually be still. There's a beautiful garden outside of our home, and I realized that those lovely plants, those lovely trees, those flowers, they just be, right? They're just there in this stillness. No matter what noise is there, no matter what the amount of dust, no matter if it's raining, if it's sunny, they're just still. But in that stillness, there is this beauty that's there. You can't help but notice how green the leaves are, how beautiful that flower looks, how that tree that's blooming and fruiting, how beautiful and luscious and juicy those fruits look. It got me thinking a lot about what we actually know about being still, being so still that you radiate, you flourish, you become this almost like a magnet for everything that wants stillness. You notice how we usually say, I'm going for a nature walk or I'm going for a meditative walk. You notice where you tend to go is the forests. This ecosystem is just still. It's it's just being. The trees, yes, we do know now that the trees communicate and there's a whole vibrant community right there. And I mean community both in the scientific aspect and in the, do I say metaphysical aspect, in that the actual interactions that happen there, right? Maybe the ants talk to the trees, they say good morning to each other, and all those. Picture it like Alice in Wonderland sort of lifestyle. Anyway, I digress. But what I mean to say is the beauty of that stillness. You go there, it attracts you, it calls you there to go and just revel in its beauty. And through its stillness, it has attracted you. And through its stillness, it gives you that stillness too. So that you come out of there and you hear someone say something like, I had the best moment. If you were looking for clarity, you go there and like, yeah, I actually got some breakthroughs. If you were looking for rest, you hear someone say, actually feel nice. I feel rejuvenated to tackle one, two, three. And the fact that stillness is this beautiful magnet, and it's stillness in spite of and stillness despite of. It could also be the fact that nature, particularly looking at ecosystems like forests, there's this vastness to it, right? It makes you realize that there's a whole lot bigger, beautiful things out there than what you consider within your circle of perception, right? There's also that. And could that be what stillness really is? Like, it makes you become this beautiful tower of serenity, almost of wonder, that everything that comes towards your your field feels this sort of serenity, one, and two, some beautiful wonder that makes them feel like within this space, I feel at peace. within this space, I feel contained almost. It's so beautiful. I mean, I still am trying to, to see deeper into it. And by seeing, I just mean I'm trying to rest in that and to better understand it. I've, there are cases where, and by nature, I also mean something like the ocean with its vastness, with that, the big waves, if particularly you're next to it and you see how strong those waves are, but at the same time, it's one of the calmest places you can be. So the concept is that I love how nature just gets this this stillness. It gets this quiet. It's just being. But in that being has so much power. That being has so much magnetism that anything, literally anything around it, just feels sheltered, just feels safe, just feels enveloped in this amazing, bountiful, beautiful serenity that cannot be explained. I like to imagine that that's my challenge this day or week, to be still, and not just still as an activity, but as a state, to just be. And within that, I feel like that's where the beauty is. That's where the sweetness is. That's where the magic is. And while we're talking about stillness, something also came to mind about being present. I mentioned this in reflection 3 about rest, but also I mentioned it in the last episode. And I realized something that most times when we talk about being present, it's the art of being in your body, actually coming back to your body. I don't know if it's everyone, but when you're contemplating about the past, it's like you're floating. You're not there. You're not there at that particular moment. It's like you're in space somewhere. You're floating outside. When you're thinking about the future, because most times probably anxiety and all those other feelings come in, someone tends to sink. You're not in your body, you're not up floating, but you're just like you're sinking. Feels like a sinking sensation. And that mostly comes about with those feelings that we associate with the future, depending on at what point you feel you could have done something and all that. And most times that sinking feeling is definitely something to do with anxiety. But you remember in the last episode, we said that your future is dependent on your present, meaning the only point at which you can change your future is the now. And that's the power that the now has. So, meaning that the future doesn't even necessarily, quote unquote, exist because you are creating it in the moment, right? And the past, I mean, it already went, right? And an interesting thing that I found out is a scientific study whereby it's been proven time and time again that most of the things we think we remember about the past, they are lies. Your brain changed them. You actually changed them. It could not even be accurate. I mean, then why do we even focus on that? So, with being still comes being present. And I feel like with being present comes being in your body. Actually doing the grounding exercise, the one for realizing the five senses. What can I smell now? What can I see now? What can I taste? What do I hear, right? Yeah, the five senses. You work around and what you can smell, yeah? And that grounds you. And doing that as often as possible in order to be there. And I feel like that's where the magic is. I hope you're really excited to do it and start it now because, as we have said, now is the future, right? So, yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next episode.